So 5.1 and 5.2 questions. Okay. Question 2, an algebraic expression. Use n for the number. Okay, the sum of the number, sum, we know is plus. So the number plus 5. Double the number, which will be 2n, or 2 times n. Simplify. 6y plus 3y gives you 9y. 9xy, take away 4xy, gives you 5xy. 5p squareds plus 2p squareds gets you 7p squareds. 24 plus 8 is 32. Take away 4 gets you 28m. Okay, find the value. So we're going to substitute 10 where the x is. So 2 times 10, take away 7, 20 take away 7 is 13. Complete the rule. Okay, what must we add to A? So to get B. So we've got 9 as an answer. 2 plus 1 equals 9. We need 7. Okay, algebraic expression. 11 times the product of x and y. Product is times, so it's 11 times x times y, which can be simplified just to 11xy. 4 times x, or 4x, is subtracted from. It's really important to do that from. So y is the beginning, and we are going to take 4x from that. Simplify by collecting like terms. So we have 5x take away 2x, which gets us 3x. We have positive 4 plus 7, which gets us 11. We have negative 3ab plus 6ab. So the 10 can stay. Minus 3 plus 6 is positive 3ab. 6mn is the same as nm, so we've got minus 2, so 4mn. And we have 1 minus 7, which gives us negative 6. 9x squareds can only go with x squareds, so take away 3 gives us 6x squareds. 4x, take away 6x, gives us minus 2x. Simplify. Okay, with multiplication, multiply the numbers together. 7 3s are 21. Q times Q will be Q squared. B. We've got 2 negatives, so that becomes a positive. 7 2s are 14. We have a Y and we have a D. Division. Okay. You can do division or cancel. So what goes into both 80 and 8? Well, 8 does. How many times? 10, and there's an m on top. And 1. Don't need the 1 down the bottom, so just 10m. Okay. 2 goes into 4 twice. And 1. The p's can cancel each other out. And we're left with Q on top, so 2Q. 6 goes into both, so 6 goes into 6 once, and we have an M on top. You don't need to write the 1. And 6 goes into 18 3 times. 12 and 20, 4 goes into both. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and into 25 times. The b's will cancel each other out, and we are left with an a on top. Okay, evaluate. So we're going to find the answer when we sub in negative 3. 2 plus 6 multiplied by negative 3. We must multiply first. So 6 times negative 3 gets us negative 18. 2 minus 18 gets us negative 16. Okay, negative 2 times 4 plus 7, this time we do the brackets. Negative 2 times 11 gets us negative 22. 11. Okay, V is going to equal 6 plus 5 times 0.5. We must do the times first. 6 plus half of 5 is 2.5, and we get 8.5. Find Celsius, C, 5/9 bracket, Fahrenheit is 104, take away 32, so we get 5/9 times 72, which gets us 40 degrees Celsius. That can just put in your calculator. Okay, expand and simplify. So expand. Rainbows, 2 times x, 2x, plus 2 5s, 10. 3p times 2p, 6p squared. 3p times 5 is 15p, and there is a negative. Negative 5 times 7 is negative 35. Get a Q. Negative 5 times negative 7 is positive 35. Negative at the front always changes the sign in the middle. 2 brackets here, individually. We have 7x plus 7, and we have 2x minus 6. Now collect like terms. 7x plus 2x is 9x. 7 take away 6 is positive 1. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 2y is 10y. Then we have a negative outside the bracket, which will make it negative 3x, and negative negative, which makes it a positive 4y. 5x take away 3x is 2x. 10y plus 4y is 14y. Okay, F, perfect square. Now, we can rewrite the bracket again because it's times by itself, it's square. Now, we can use double rainbows. So m times m is m squared. M times 9 is 9m with a positive. 9 times m is 9m. 9 times 9 is 81. Collect like terms, we have m squared plus 18m plus 81. Now, a quicker way to do that would be square the first, which is m squared, double the product. Now the product of those two together is 9m, double it, we get 18m, and square the last, which is 81. G, which is the difference of two squares. Again, the slower way would be a times a times 5, 5a, and it is a positive. Negative 5 times a is negative 5a. Negative 5 times positive 5 is negative 25. Collect like terms. Plus 5a minus 5a, they cancel each other out, so we're just left with a squared minus 25. Or the quicker way is simply with a bracket that is exactly the same apart from minus and plus, or plus and minus, we square the first term, a squared, we square the second term, which is 5 squared, 25, and there must be a minus in between. Factorise. Okay, take out a common factor. What goes into both 14 and 2? 2 does. How many times? 7 and 1. What's common? D. You're left with a D and 9. Okay, C. Whenever it leads with a negative, that must come out. What goes into both 6 and 30? Well, 6 does. And there is a common A. Okay, so we've taken out the negative 6. We've used one of the a's, so that means there's an a left. Now, 6 into 30 goes 5. We've used the a. Now, if that's positive and you take out a common negative, it changes the sign in the middle. You can always check it by going backwards and expanding. Okay, simplify the following fractions. Now, with any fractions, you can always check it on your calculator by just using the numbers. So we have 1 over 3 plus 3 over 5 will get you the answer, but you've just got to substitute an x in the top. But without the calculator, we need common denominators. So 3 and 5, what goes over by 3? What's the first number they both go into? 15. So we need to times this by 5. What you do at the bottom must do to the top. Times by 3. What you do at the bottom must do to the top. And we get 5x over 15 plus 9x over 15. Only add the top because our common denominator is 15. 5x plus 9x is 14x. Okay, we have 3n and 7n on the bottom. So the n is fine. We just need 21 on the bottom. So we're going to times by 7 and we're going to times by 3. So we get 14 over 21n. Take away 12 over 21n. So we have a common denominator of 21n. 14 minus 12 is 2. Now with multiplying, you can either just multiply the top and multiply the bottom and then simplify and cancel, or you can just cancel first and then multiply. Okay, so when we multiply, 6 times 15 is 90. XY. 5 fours are 20 x squared. We can cancel the zeros. We have 1x on top and 2 on the bottom, so we're going to cancel 1 and we're going to leave 1 on the bottom. So we get 9y over 2x. Okay, division. Again, you can do it on the calculator. 2 over 5 divided by 4 over 50 equals, but you've got to realise that the y divided by y will cancel each other out. If not, though, it's important to know the rule that 2y over 5 divided by, we're going to change to a times, and we're going to flip the second fraction over. Okay, the y's will cancel each other out, so we end up with 2 times 50 is 100, 5 times 4 is 20, cancel the zeros, 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, bus ticket costs X dollars. If you buy 5, you get a discount of 2. So 5 of your bus tickets, take away 2. Alright, expand and simplify. Again, this is a difference of 2 squares. So we can do double rainbows and then simplify, or simply square the first, which is 9m squared. Square the second, which is 49, and it must be a minus in between. B, perfect square. So we can write it again and then do double rainbows, or we can simply square the first, which is 25, double the product, so 5 times 2 is 10y, double it, we get 20y, and it must be a negative, and then square the last, 4y squared, and a negative must be a positive. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the 5.1, 5.2. So this part C is definitely more of a 5.3 question, even though 5.2s will be capable of it. So the first bracket, 5 times all that, so we have to square it first. So we're going to leave the 5 as it is. Now square the m, double the product, so 5m, double it, we get negative 10m, and negative 5 squared is 25, minus 8, again we're going to leave it, so m minus 4 squared, square the first, the product is 4m, so we're going to double it and get 8m, and negative 4 squared is positive 16, 3, it's a perfect square again, so we get m squared, square the first, the product is 3m, double it, we get 6m, and square the last, we get positive 9. So expanding all the brackets, 5 times everything, so we've got 5m squared minus 50m plus 125, take away now 8m squared, now negative 8 times negative 8 gets you positive 64m, and negative 8 times 16 gets us negative 128. Then we've got positive 3 times m squared, which is positive 3m squared. 3 times negative 6 gets negative 18m, and 3 times 9 is 27. Okay, collect like terms. So we have 5m squared, take away 8m squared, which is negative 3m squared, plus another 3m squared, will get actually cancel out. We have negative 50m plus 64m, well that will get us positive 14m, take away another 18m, which will get us negative 4m. 125 take away 128 will get us negative 3, plus 27 will get us positive 24. Okay, 18. Okay, factorise. Alright, we always look for common factors first, but there's nothing that goes in to all three. So therefore, it's four terms, so we're going to cut it into pairs. So what goes in both 4 and 12? What 4 does. And what's left? X. 4 and 12 goes 3, Y. Now what goes in, what's common in this one? Okay, it leads with a negative, so we're going to take that out. And it's got a Z in both. So what's left? X. If you take out the negative here, it's going to end up a positive, and you're left with 3Y. Now you can see that both these are common. So now that is going to come out the front. What's left in the other bracket is 4 minus Z. Okay, next question. Okay, look for common factors. So 8 and 18, 2 goes into both. So 2 comes out the front. 4a squared minus 9m squared is left. Okay, now this is a difference of 2 squares. So put the 2 out the front and it becomes 2 brackets. Alright, difference of 2 squares, square it the first, so we get 2a. Square it the second, we get 3m. And you must have a plus and a minus in between, any order. Okay, we have a trinomial, so double bracket. So therefore, give me 2 numbers that times together to give you 20 and subtract together to give you 8. So we've got y and y. So the 2 numbers, 10 and 2. Then you've got to decide, because it's a negative 20, these two, 10 and 2, have to be different signs. We look at this here, it's a positive, so it must be the bigger number has to be positive, and the smaller number has to be negative, because 10 minus 2 gives you positive 8. Now this one, common factors first, so 3 goes into all, y squared plus 5y, take away 24. So therefore, 3 is out the front. It is a trinomial. So give me 2 factors of 24. That subtract to give you 5. So we have 8 and 3. And again, it's positive 5. So the bigger number must be positive. Okay, we need a common denominator. So 6 can easily be changed to 12 by just doubling. What you did at the bottom must do to the top. So we get 2 times everything on top there, which is 2m plus 12 over 12 plus 3m minus 5 over 12. We now have a common denominator of 12. We add the top like terms. 2m plus 3m is 5m, and 12 take away 5 gets you 7. Okay, B, again 15 is easily changed. So 3 times 5 gets you 15. We don't need to change the other one. Times the top. So we get 6q plus 15 over 15. Take away q minus 2 over 15. And we get a common denominator of 15. Now, like terms, 6q take away q will get us 5q, and 15 take away minus 2, negative and negative is a positive, so it's 15 plus 2, which gets us 17. Alright, shaded area. So the shaded area is the larger area, take away the smaller area. So they're squares. We know how to do a square. Length times breadth. So length times breadth. So the length is that, and the breadth is that. Take away the smaller square, which is the length times the breadth. So perfect square. Square the first. The product of those two is 2x. Double it. We get 4x. Square the last. We get 1. Now, because that is a minus, I'm going to leave it in the bracket. And again, perfect square. So x squared. The product is negative 5. We double it to get negative 10. Square the second, and we get positive 25. Now, collect like terms. 4x squared minus x squared gets us 3x squared. 4x minus negative 10, that's a plus. So 4x plus 10 will get us 14x. And 1 minus 25 will get us negative 24. Okay, 21a, we need a common denominator to plus. Now, they both have x minus 5, just one of them has x plus 1, so I need an x plus 1 over here. What you did at the bottom must do to the top. So therefore, our common denominator now is x plus 1, x minus 5 in any order. Now, expand the top, we get 3x plus 3 and plus the 4. So we get 3x plus 7 all over x plus 1, x plus minus 5. Okay, B. Alright, there is absolutely no way you can simplify any of this first. You can definitely not cancel things that you see out. So for example, you can't cancel 4x and the 4x, you're not allowed to cancel between pluses. You can only cancel between times. So what we need to do is factorise everything out. So on the top, this one first, we can see 2 goes into all of it, so we're going to take that out the front. Over. Now, this one here is a difference of 2 squares. So double bracket, square root the first, x, square root the second, 1, and put a plus and a minus in between. Times. Now this one here is a trinomial with x and x. So give me 2 numbers that times together to give you 4 and subtract to give you 3. So that's 4 and 1. And because it's positive 3, the bigger number has to be positive. And the bottom here is just a simple factorising for outside of x plus 1. Now, the top left can also be simplified further. It's a trinomial, so the 2 comes out the front. Give me 2 numbers that times together to give you 1, and add together to give you 2. So obviously that's got to be 1 and 1, both positive because that's positive 2. Everything else is already factorised. And now, because everything is separated by times and divide, we can cancel something on the top with something on the bottom. So we get x plus 1 can cancel for x plus 1. This x plus 1 with this x plus 1, this x minus 1, this x minus 1, and also the 2 can go into 4 twice. So we end up with, on top, x plus 4, don't need it in brackets anymore because there's nothing left, and on the bottom, 2. Okay, 21C, a really hard question. Now, this first one here, that is a difference of 2 squares. Even though this looks different, it's only just one number. So, difference of 2 squares, 2 brackets, square root the first is p, square root the second, square root just gets rid of the square, so we're going to be left with q plus r, q plus r, and we have a plus and a minus in between. Now the bottom one is factorised by pairs. So, first pair, p goes into both, p plus q. Now the second pair, a negative is common, r, p plus q. Now, the divide we're going to change to a times, and we are going to flip. So the top one now becomes the bottom. That can't be factorised, that just stays as it is. I'm going to put it in brackets. The bottom, now the top, can be factorised by pairs. So p is common, p minus q. Take away, because it leads with a negative, r is common, p is left. The negative changes the positive to a negative, and we have a q. So therefore, this top one here can be simplified a little bit by removing the brackets. So we get, first one, p plus q plus r. That won't change much. Now the next one will. P minus q minus r, because that negative out the front of that little bracket will change the sign in the middle. Now the bottom here, what's common? Well, we have a p plus q. What's left? P minus r times, again, what's common? P minus q. What's left? P minus r all over P minus Q minus R. Okay, again, what do you see on top that can be cancelled with the bottom? So we have P minus Q minus R, we have P minus R, and I think that is it. So in the end, my answer is P plus Q plus R, P minus Q, all over P plus Q. Yep, that's it. Okay, we need common denominators. Again, we don't have anything to work off yet, so we need to factorise. So we get x plus 3. Now, that x squared minus 16 is the difference of two squares. So 2 brackets, square root the first, x, square root the second, 4, with a plus and a minus in between. Take away x plus 2. Now, x is common, it's minus 4. Now, they both have an x minus 4, but this needs a common x. What you do at the bottom, do the top. This one, this second one here, doesn't have an x plus 4, so I need that. What you do at the bottom, must do the top. So therefore, my common denominator now is x, x plus 4, x minus 4. I'm going to expand the top here, x squared plus 3x. Now it's leading with a minus, so it's going to be negative x squared. It's going to be 4x, but again, negative. It's going to be 2x, but again, negative. And it's going to be 8, but again, negative. Okay, so we end up getting, again, same denominator. X squared minus x squared cancel each other out. 3x minus 4x gets us negative 1. X minus 2x gets us negative 3x. And we have minus 8. Okay, 22. Now this question is actually quite easy if you just really do a good drawing. So it's saying that we have a pool which is length 3y plus 2 and width 4y. Now it is surrounded by a fence that is Q from the edge of the pool. So that means from there to there is Q, from there to there is Q, and all the way around. So from there to there, and there to there is Q. So, write an expression for the perimeter of the pool. Okay, so the perimeter of the pool is the length plus the width plus the length plus the width. So 3y plus 2 plus 4y plus 3y plus 2 plus 4y. We end up getting 14y plus 4. Now, write an expression for the area of the pool. Length times breadth, so 3y plus 2 times by 4y. And again, it can be expanded, so we get 12y squared plus 8y. Write an expression for the length of the fence along the long side of the pool. So, we said that the length of the pool was 3y plus 2, but now we are going to add 2q to that, because that q to there and that q to there. So 3y plus 2 plus 2q. Now the breadth of the fence, which was, we said, the pool was 4y, but we need to go an extra q and an extra q to get to the fence. So it is 4y plus 2q. Now write a simplified expression for the perimeter of the fence. So we have 4y plus 2q plus and the length 3y plus 2 plus 2q, but because it's perimeter we're going to plus those again. Okay, so we get 4y plus 3y, 7y, plus another 4y, which is 11y, plus another 3y, which is 14y, plus 2q, 4q, 6q, and 8q. And 2 plus 2, which is 4. Okay, area enclosed by the fence, we have the width multiplied by the length. Now it says do not expand, so that's it. Okay, find the area between the pool and the fence. So, well, we have the fence, and we are going to subtract the area of the pool, which was 12y squared plus 8y from the previous answer in part B, I think it was. Okay, and you don't have to expand it, so that's it. So find the area between the pool and the fence. So we don't expand, we're just going to use our previous answer, which was 4y plus 2q (3y plus 2 plus 2q), that's the area of the pool fence, take away 12y squared plus 8y, which is the area of the pool. Now sub in 3 and 2, so we'll have 4 times 2 plus 2 times 3, 3 times 2 plus 2 plus 2 times 3, take away 12 times 2 squared plus 8 times 2. And we put that into our calculator and we get 124 meters squared. Now, just some other notes with scientific notation. Now, remember it must be a number less than 10 times 10 to the how many decimal places are moved. So, for example, 25000 in scientific notation. So, the decimal point is just here. We need to move it so it is between the 2 and the 5. So it's got to be 2.5. Can't be 25, that's too big. So we move it 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it needs to be 2.5 times 10 to the 4 movements. Now smaller numbers, 0.0. Okay, so it needs, the decimal point needs to jump between the 3 and the 2. because it needs to be 3.27, because it needs to be between 1 and 10. So the decimal point's just here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movements. So it's 3.27 times 10. This time it's small, so it needs to be -5. Now, lastly, obviously you can do both ways. If you're going the other way, it needs to move 4 times that way. It needs to move 5 times that way. Also, some questions might say, okay, we have 32.6 times 10 to the 7. Now, that's actually not in scientific notation because it's 32. So what we need to do to make it proper scientific notation, this needs to jump one more. So we get 3.26 times 10. And because we've added another jump, we get 8. Now, we can actually do significant figures, which is just rounding. Also, we can do it to these two. Alright. If I say round that one to 2 significant figures, it's already got 3 digits. So we only need 2, so we stop there. 7 rounds the 2 up to a 3. So 3.3 times 10 to the -5. Same as this one, 3.3 times 10 to the 8. So, significant figures, 3, 5, 6, 0, 0, round to 2 significant figures. So we are going to stop there. So what does the 6 do? It must round it up to the 6, and we replace the others with zeros. Decimal places, 0.00598 to 2 significant figures. And we stop there. So what does the 8 do to the 9? It rounds it up to a 10. And we've got to add the 1 there. So we get 0.0060. Now that is 2 significant figures, because the number 0 at the end is significant. And but zeros in the middle of numbers are also significant, so you've got to count those. So for example, 30600, that is 3 significant figures. Now, and just a note on the scientific notation, the trinomials. Remember the 4 types of trinomials that we deal with. Where they're all plus. Where we have a plus and a minus. Minus and a minus. And a minus and a plus. Okay, so our rules are, it's trinomial, so obviously x and x all along, because we've already looked at common factors, but there are none. Okay, so we've got to be careful. So remember, this 12 is produced by times. So give me 2 numbers that times together, and look at that there, it's a plus. So times together to give you 12 and add together to give you 7. So which is 3 and 4. And because it's positive 12, they both either have to be positive or both negative. And because it's positive 7, they have to both be positive. Okay, give me 2 numbers that times together to give you 20 and add together to give you 9. Well, that's 5 and 4. And because it's -9, because both have to be the same sign to be positive, it's -5 and -4. Okay, when let me change. Give me two numbers that times together give you 12, but subtract to give me 1. So we have 3 and 4, but because it's negative 12, they have to be different signs. And we look at this sign here, and it's negative, therefore the bigger number must be negative, because negative 4 plus 3 gives us negative 1. And finally, give me two numbers that times together give you 10, and subtract to give me 3. Well, that's got to be 5 and 2. And because it's positive 3, it needs to be positive 5 and negative 2. So just keep on looking at these videos to check out the ones that you really need to work with.